Lots of sport bikes come with a steering damper from the factory, and for those that don't, plenty of people add them as an accessory. But what does a steering damper do, and do you need one for your motorcycle? I'll explain in this video from the MC Garage. A steering damper, also called a steering stabilizer, is essentially suspension for your steering. Just as your fork and shock control the vertical motion of your wheels, a steering stabilizer controls the movement of your front end's side-to-side motion. It even uses the same technology, namely oil passing through a fixed hole. That restriction to flow creates the damping that controls how fast your front end turns. There are a bunch of different kinds of steering dampers out there, from radial ones that mount to the top of the triple clamp to linear units that mount to the bottom or side of the triple clamp. There are even electronically controlled stabilizers that vary the damping based on the bike's speed. Regardless of the style or location of the damper, they all do the same thing, and that is slow down your steering. But most riders like a bike with light, easy steering. So why would you want to slow down how fast your front end turns? I got two words for you: tank slapper. If you hit a bump that deflects your front tire, or if you're accelerating hard enough that you lift the front wheel and then you set the tire down at an angle, the front end can whip back towards center. Sometimes the inertia of that self-centering movement can be so strong that it throws the wheel past center in the opposite direction. And that can set off a chain reaction that often ends very, very badly. Not sure what I mean? Well, you can search tank slapper videos and prepare to wince, or you can take a look at this video from my buddy Rennie Skaysbrook over at Cycle News. Tank slappers are some of the most violent, terrifying experiences in motorcycling, and they often end in a crash. Lucky for Rennie, that wasn't the case. Steering dampers help prevent and interrupt high-speed front-end oscillations, but for the most part, they don't inhibit slow-speed steering. That's because of the circuitry within the damper, which, like a damper rod fork, is rate sensitive. Or, in the case of this ZX10 here, it's actually electronically controlled. So, if you're turning the bars slowly, there's not a lot of resistance, but if you try and turn them quick, the resistance ramps up. You mostly see steering dampers on 600 and 1000cc sport bikes because they're the machines that are most susceptible to wobbles and tank slappers. They've got lots of horsepower, they've got short wheelbases, steep steering geometry, all of which makes a tank slapper more likely. Lots of off-road bikes run steering dampers too, because those guys are ripping across uneven terrain that can deflect the front tire. Cruisers don't typically run steering dampers because the bike's weight, wheelbase, and other factors mean they're not necessary. So, safety and stability are concerns when it comes to steering dampers, but so is personal preference. Some people just like dampers because they feel it makes the steering smoother or more controlled, or they see it as cheap insurance to keep their bike from freaking out at speed. Style is a big factor too, and plenty of people will install a steering damper even if their bike or their riding style doesn't warrant it. Here's a tip though: if your bike has recently started handling oddly, don't band-aid the problem with a steering damper. A motorcycle traveling in a straight line is inherently stable, so if yours isn't, you should be looking at your tire wear, your wheel alignment, and your head bearings. Whatever the reason for running a steering damper, now you know what they do and why they exist. We covered this topic because of a comment from a viewer like you, so if there's something you want us to discuss, leave it in the comment section below. As always, we hope you'll subscribe so you never miss a tip from the MC Garage. Until next time, ride safe.